prefer the other way around.
Hi, I'm playing Shia LaBeouf today.
We started. Shh, shh, shh.
So
Chloe's
when
angry.
you're playing your annoying character.
Cool.
Hi, welcome to Adventures Wanted. This is our 92 of the show so far. And just to remind you, this is a relaxed performance, like all of our performances. That just means there won't be any sudden loud noises. If you need to pop out of the room at any time, that's absolutely fine. You can leave and come back anytime during the hour. We also have a relaxed attitude to sound and movement from the audience. People who struggle to be still and silent for an hour. And also the lights will stay like this. We are having a little bit of a glitching problem with some of the hotel's lights. We will never go to blackout, and if the lights glitch off, I will switch them back on within 10 seconds. None of you look like you need hearing loop headsets or anything like that. If you did, I'm Chloe. I'm just sitting there. Give me a wave. In the meantime, I will hand you over to our GM for the hour, Alex.
Hello!
Hour 92.
We're not mad.
Yeah, I am Alex and I am your games master for this morning. What is this? What is going on? What's happening? This is Adventurers Wanted. Welcome. For those of you who don't know or who are new to anything like this, Adventurers Wanted is a tabletop role-playing game. What that means is that the players sat around the table beside me are all playing their own unique character. I, as the games master, will play the rest of the world. I will describe places, people, and things that they encounter, and they'll tell me things that they would like to do. I'll explain what happens, and occasionally I will ask them to roll a dice. Their success or failure at rolling that die will determine whether they succeed at something magnificently or fail dismally and often hilariously. It helps push the story forward, and it adds a little bit of chaos into the idea. The story so far, all of our characters and the players sat around the table are crew members aboard a naval research vessel known as the Spirit of the Horizon. In a recent mission, it was unexpectedly and magically transported to a completely new and unknown world. Now the crew have to figure out how to get home, whether that be by fighting monsters, exploring islands, finding new allies, or by some other means as yet unknown. Most recently, after looking to find the constituent parts of gunpowder, a technology unknown on this world, they have dived beneath a mountain and got some saltpeter. They've had a few days of rest, and they've been pulled up in front of one of the queens of the island, a queen known as Abilzim, who they've had encounters with before and who is friendly to their cause. The queen has asked them to head forth from this island to another island nearby, where the members of the Thundercrest Federation, who are the people who live around this island, are looking to expand. Their population is growing wildly, and they need to move on, and they would like to take over this island. The crew of the ship have been tasked to go forwards, to find out what is happening, and to search for any of the missing settlers that these people have sent out to this island. When we last left off, our characters were the main ship had just pulled up nearby, and the captain had suggested that a small jolly boat be sent out with a small crew to make landing on the island and to find out more about what was going on. That's where we're going to pick back up. Before we do so, I'm going to quickly go around the table and ask each of our players to introduce themselves, the name of their character, what their character is, and a little thing about their background or their history or their time on board the ship that would mean that people would know who they are. Starting on my left.
So I'm Isla. I am playing Noggin, who is a gnome rogue. I am the ship's dentist. I collect things, and I'm currently trying to make a dancing robot out of shiny things.
I'm Chris. I'm playing Wally. Wally is half bird, half man. They're a species from the world we've gone to, so I'm relatively new to the crew. I think I kind of invited myself on board, and I'm just sticking around. They can't get rid of me, which is fine. I'm a blue bird person, so blue with green feathers, and I'm a nature guy. You know, I'm a big fan of like the earth and stuff, and trees and stuff. So yeah, keeping it real, man.
My name is Ian, and I am playing as Brother Jurgen, who is a cleric of the goddess Lyra, who is the goddess of joy. except she doesn't seem to exist in this world we found herself in. So I've something else is talking to me. We may or may not find out what it is this hour. We won't.
You don't know.
As I am a cleric of joy, some bad stuff's happened recently, and I've been a bit down. So I've decided to reinvigorate my life's work. So I have recently volunteered as ship's morale officer, and so far got past the captain that we should have happy hour on a Thursday, 5 to 7. That we should start shuffleboard tournaments, but he did veto Naked Thursday. So
Oh, that's a point. I don't wear clothes. I'm always.
and didn't even want to entertain Orgy Friday. So we're going to have a conversation about how that goes from forward. I am currently the ranking officer on the away party, which involves me, a monk, a dentist, and a bird. So should be interesting.
I'm useful.
With that, we jump back into the adventure. Yes, the jolly boat has been lowered down from the side of the Spirit of the Horizon. It is ready and waiting its ranking officer to step into it and to head across the sort of 400 feet of open sea towards the small beachhead that you spotted in the distance.
Captain, just before we go, can we get a couple of Marines to come with us just to secure the beachhead and potentially give us backup if it goes down?
Captain turns across and he looks and he says, Josen! And this half orc sort of shambles over, wearing full chainmail and armor, chewing on something dodgy, something that doesn't look entirely like chicken. And he sort of nods and says,
white meat.
"Yes, Captain. Any chance of a couple of your fine young lads and ladies jumping in the boat with them?" And Josen sort of looks around and scans the deck and sort of says, "Everyone's kind of busy at the moment." And then he looks and he spots one person. And he says, "You, what's your name? Darren. Darren?" And he sort of looks across. This startled young,
What colour shirt is Darren wearing?
he's wearing this bright maroon shirt.
Oh.
Darren.
Looks startled. It's Darren.
We don't
Yes.
even know his name.
Come with them. And he sort of comes across and he's strapping on a little short sword and yes. Just goes to salute, doesn't know what to do.
We agree now. Darren survives.
We'll do whatever it takes.
Short-term goal: keep Darren alive. So
After your whole conversation about the number of people you've buried, and now you've
I don't want
asked
it.
specifically.
Not today, man. Not today.
Literal spit take.
Yes. No, just now remember Darren. Darren Fodder, isn't it? Fodder, yes.
Darren Fodder. Yes, that's well remembered.
Sorry. It's Fodder, isn't it? Darren Fodder.
Yeah, of the Westchester Fodder.
Yes.
Wow.
Quite a short lineage, I believe, isn't it?
Yeah, he comes over with you and he starts to make his way down the side of the ship, down the rungs on the side of the ship.
It's going to trip and fall and drown, isn't it?
Towards the
That's it.
jolly boat. And he sits there sort of expectantly at the oars, waiting for the rest of the party to join him. So, while I'm down here, I'm going to move
Jump
that.
in.
Oh.
Yay.
You jump in.
Yeah.
Hang on. Before she goes. Fancy something a bit different?
Ooh, yes. What?
Giant eagle.
I expected
Blue.
something shiny.
Giant eagle. I can't talk in giant eagle form, so I sort of shuffle over, sort of present the back like jump on.
Okay, I'll hop on.
Just burning through all of your shape changes.
I know! We've travelled for a day, I've got 2 back.
Before you even get anywhere.
Correct.
Well, looks like it's just you and me, Darren. We can get to know each other on this long journey to the island. So tell me about your family and how long are you till retirement?
Take a couple of hopping jumps.
It sort of looks across at you. I mean, before this, I had only just signed up. So about hopefully 40 years?
Let's see how that lasts. Let's get going, Darren.
Yeah, as you look
Can
at
I cast Bless on Darren?
please.
We lost an hour.
just for the journey, I think, just so we at least make it to the beach. I think he's gonna die of like sepsis from a splinter.
He's a trained Marine.
I'm sorry, this is me out of character now, dealing with the fact that I've just condemned someone to death.
Yeah, I'm just pulling up some stats for a disposable
Actually, no,
NPC.
not Bless, Aid. And I'm going to cast it at level 5.
What is wrong with you?
That gives him an additional 15 hit points for the next 8 hours.
8 hours.
I'm going to
okay.
keep him alive, okay? Darren is my new best friend. Stick with me, Darren, it'll be fine.
Wonderful. Thank
So
you.
I'll knock that off, that's fine. I don't mind having slightly less stick for this. I'm sure Stick will see me through.
Darren starts pulling on the oars, and the jolly boat starts cutting its way across the waves towards the island.
Are you on my back? Are we flying?
We are flying.
Wonderful. You're soaring high above.
Oh, I'm having all the fun. We're doing little like, just like wing drop rolls.
It's like the music from the Never-Ending Story player in the background as well.
Yeah.
I'm waving to everything.
Oh, for God's sake.
As you are making your way towards the island, everybody roll me a perception check, please.
Ooh,
How perceptive am I today?
my giant eagle is especially perceptive.
Ah!
That
It's a 29. No, I'm kidding.
27?
Natural.
Yeah, 8. I'm too distracted to try to keep Darren alive.
Yeah, you're deep in conversation.
That was a not natural 20. I rolled with advantage on wisdom perception checks because I'm an eagle.
Wonderful.
27.
You just see that.
Yeah, you see the eagle sees fish in the waters below.
I'm not polymorph because I've got my mind.
He sees the island coming into view. He sees the ship moving its way across the waters towards the beach. As you and Noggin look down, you can see that the beach itself is completely uninhabited. All around is thick, dense foliage. The trees grow right up to the edge of the beach, and beyond it is almost impenetrably dark and just lush and green and verdant. You can't see any signs of buildings, piers, jetties, anything like that. There are, however, as you're flying in, 2 jolly boats, similar sort of size and construction, slightly different, more like an on-world version of the boat that you find Brother Jürgen and Darren moving their way across towards.
How fast are they rowing?
Darren, as he's rowing, he's done this before. He knows what he's doing, and as Brother Jürgen is sort of talking to him, but every so often he does catch, like he misses with an oar, and
It's okay, Darren, it's fine. So tell me where you grew up.
he's slightly nervous.
I'm trying to expand his character. The more real he is, the less chance he will die.
I grew up in Helmsreach, just by the Bronze Mountain.
Fantastic. You got any siblings?
Yes, an older sister,
Good. What's her name?
Marianne.
Marianne. Lovely name. Carry on.
How fast?
You will arrive before they do.
Yeah,
At your
80 feet around. Yeah.
yeah. They're probably moving at half the speed that you are.
Cool. So land very gently. A bird doing a 3-point landing? Yeah, the bird does a 3-point landing. It may even dab a bit.
Just this image of this bird backing up in midair.
The bird takes 1 point of psychic damage.
For dabbing. Okay. I'll take 1 point of psychic damage.
Sorry,
Right.
we have a thing when anyone in character references something that is definitely in our world, they take psychic damage
I would
for
argue
it.
that dabbing is in all worlds.
Too many rolls at that.
You can jump off. I'm going to stay in eagle form because I feel so good.
Can I have some of your feathers, please?
Blink.
Darren is still
Pull the wing out so
through
you
the
can pull some
thing.
Oh,
You
okay.
can see as he is doing so, as he's rowing, he's looking back over your shoulder wistfully as the spirit of the horizon disappears or gets smaller and smaller behind him.
Don't worry, Darren. We'll keep you alive, whatever happens. Even if I have to use every single spell point to keep you alive, Darren, I'm not losing anyone today.
Can I percept?
That would be appreciated.
Can I percept the beach?
You can indeed. Roll me a perception check, please.
Brilliant. That is, the first one was a 15 plus 4, 19.
19, yes. You look around on the beach and you see that the two boats that are there, they have been abandoned for some time. There is the telltale signs of some of the sort of shore life, small crabs, things like that, have started to make their homes within the boats. And everything is...
one of the crabs.
Cool. Everything is covered in a fine sort of light dusting of sand as the wind has blown over it. You assume you can gauge that certainly one of these has been abandoned for a few months, and the other one probably a few weeks, maybe 3-4 weeks.
Anything shiny in there?
Roll an investigation check for me.
That is a 16.
Yes, in the bottom of one of them you find the tiny little 5-pointed star made of just a base metal. You recognise it as the star of the Thundercrest Federation. In fact, you have all been given your own version of it at some point over the last week or so. No?
I haven't got one.
Oh, you haven't? No, you wouldn't get one.
I don't wear clothes, so I don't know where to put it.
All of the people who travelled to this world from another world have been handed one of these stars in recompense and in thanks for the hard work that they have done, securing various trade routes and diplomatic ties with the Federation, for the Federation. Yes. Roll me a survival check, those of you on the beachhead. The boat is cresting, coming in towards the surf now, pulling itself up, and as it does so, Darren leaps out of the boat and starts to pull the boat up into the sand and bring it up alongside the other two. 14.
12.
Good job, Darren. Well done. Stay alive.
As you look around, you see that in the older boat, there is a few sections where the sun has bleached the wood, and then there is a space where the sun is where there's like an absence of bleached wood. Roll insight for me.
Me too, since I'm on the beach now, or is this...
Just not
Okay,
for now.
no.
She got a non-natural 20.
A non-natural 20. What this implies in your mind is that there was a thing sat there for a long time, and now it's no longer sat there. So someone has come later and taken this thing away.
If I do see that, I can't communicate it, so...
Something has been taken.
Roll. Now you're up on the beachhead. Roll me a perception check, please. And Darren will do the same.
21.
Darren rolls a 2.
Oh, Darren.
Good start. It's a good start for Darren.
He's gonna die.
Oh. Part of me thinks we just send them back. There's other boats here.
22, you say? 21?
21.
Yeah, as you look around the boats and into the tree line, you can see that there's definitely an indication of signs of movement. Possibly footprints. There's a lot of scuffed, and the ground doesn't seem as if it's been left completely untrammeled. Roll me a survival check.
19.
Yeah, as
Thanks for warming up. There we go.
as you look down and you sort of scout in this area, you find one footprint. It's an animal footprint. Lizard-like, taloned. Roll me an insight check.
21. I'm all about it today. There we go.
You have met lizard humanoids on this land. There is a whole race known as the Komodo. They're about 5 foot tall. As you look at this footprint, you do a little bit of Sherlock maths, and and you go,
Oh,
this is bigger than a Komodo.
bugger.
As you look around, last round of perception checks, please.
Not this time, 9.
Oh, natural 20. Critical success.
Noggin, you're looking out at the thick, dense forest, trying to find a way into it,
For shinies.
and then you see, just sort of cut between 2 trees from the angle that you're on, you see what might be the start of a pathway. A very, very well hidden, not particularly well used, narrow aperture between these trees that you could head down.
I start skipping towards it.
How thick is the tree line?
Noggin, get back here.
There's a path. There's a path.
Yeah, just because there's a path doesn't mean we take it. There's things here.
Things. What things?
I don't know. If I had to guess, and I might,
Big Wing points at the footprint
Yeah.
he's just seen.
I would say it's some kind of giant lizard, a terrible lizard, if you will, if you know your Latin.
You don't know.
What is this Latin you speak of?
Never mind that now.
Yeah. What languages does Brother Jürgen speak?
Well, plenty.
Actually, none. Yeah, I'm barely lucky I'm talking at all.
You asked how thick the undergrowth was, or
As
how
in,
thick.
could my giant eagle make its way through it sensibly, or would that just be a disaster waiting to happen?
I think that would be a disaster waiting to happen.
Could I fly above it, or would I not be able to see through the tree line where they're going?
You could fly above it. If you would want to do so, you can. As you fly up, you notice that the canopy of the trees is as thick and as dense as the tree line itself. You could
I
fly
thought so,
above,
okay.
but you wouldn't know where the rest of your party were.
No, I fly back down, return to Maguru to Birdman form, like 5 feet above the ground, and just land with them. Okay. I think this is better.
Yeah. Okay.
Still naked.
2 things, Wally. First of all, put that away. Second,
But what do
have you seen? It's fine. Do you know what? Your cloaca can just stay where it is. Have you seen anything of use up there when you're flying?
There's
Flies?
very thick trees everywhere.
Well, that's a good start. Noggin, what's this path you think you found?
Don't know. It's a path. We need to follow it to find out.
In the absence of anything else, let's set off. Darren, stick with me.
Darren's like right on your shoulder. Like if you would be carrying him on your back if he was any closer.
Basically,
to you.
just got my cloak round him. Just like, it's fine. It's fine.
Can I cast Speak with Plants on one of the trees?
Yeah,
Can you?
Well, I can. I'm just asking the DM if he'll let me.
it's a plant.
I got to one of the trees that near the beginning of this path, stroke it and go, "Hey man, how's it going?"
What does Speak with Plants do exactly?
You imbue plants within 30 feet of you with limited sentience and animation, giving them the ability to communicate with you and follow your simple commands. I love druids. So I'm talking to the I'm talking to the tree line.
You just get to have a chat with them.
Hey guys.
You hear the sound of like about
Oh god.
84 voices in your head.
You. We'll pick you. Talk to me. Is this a path?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else go up and down the path recently?
Recently.
In the last, day or two?
Not that we saw.
Cool, man. Cool.
At this point, Noggin and I are just standing and watching them talk to a tree.
He's just.
You don't see the trees.
Yeah, we don't see hear the tree talking.
I think
Of,
he's gone
of
mad.
all of the people we have on board ship, we've got a bird that talks to trees. We be fucked.
At this point,
It's
I'm
got
talking to the
pretty
tree about like, how's the bark going? Has it been a good year? That sort of stuff.
Growth is good, man.
Sweet, bro. Sweet. Cool. Right.
Feeling
Wally?
that warm sun rays.
Oh, you telling me, man? You telling me?
Wally, as much fun as this is there any particular reason that you are
Yes.
talking to a tree?
I can this because the plants can move a little bit. I can turn difficult terrain into ordinary terrain if its thickets are undergrowth. So clear the path a little bit, saying, "Guys, make some room. Come on, people coming through."
Yeah, as he does this, you see, like almost imperceptibly, the path that you were looking at that was very narrow becomes just like ever so strangely like a sunflower turning towards the sun. You don't quite notice that it's happening, but you're aware that it's happened.
Magic nature stuff.
Magic nature stuff. Bloody druids.
Exactly. Suddenly I'm very aware that my pipe is empty. I'm like, you and I need to have a conversation later.
You burn, please.
Are there any pretty flowers about that I can pick?
Right here on the edge, there's a few plants that have sort of bright red flowers. And one that sort of tumbles down from the branches above quite a high height that has blue flowers.
I want both. I want all the colours.
Am I still talking to these trees as she mutilates them? Is that a thing?
It's up to you, man.
Great.
Yeah, you climb around. It's gonna takes you 5 minutes or so to get up and pluck a handful of, and you literally just sort of grab it and just tear it down off the branch.
What are the trees saying? Hey, buddy. Hey. Don't do that. 1 second.
You hear, not the face, my beautiful face.
Hey, guys. You know how you guys like shed some plants, shed some flowers every now and again? You know, like you guys like give them up for the ladies? How about you give me some up and I'll pass them along?
There's one critical
Speaking parts makes it more sweet, but it does.
one critical success and 2 critical fails in there.
Welcome to the topiary hour of Adventurers World, ladies and gentlemen.
Noggin, you're there in the trees, and suddenly around you, I'm gonna need you to roll a dexterity saving throw. Because
We're still on the beach.
This is
Darren
roleplay.
is fine.
If we just stay here for the next 150 hours, he'll live.
10?
yeah, you slip slightly from the branch and tumble
was
down
not
to the
expecting it.
ground, taking just 2 bludgeoning damage as you hit the ground. As you do so, actually, I'm gonna halve that. It's just 1 because as you fall, you are surrounded by it's as if all of the autumn happened at once. Leaves, flowers, everything just down, and there is this huge drift of leaves and flowers that you can just pull.
Yes, please.
As it's happening, I'm sort of raising my hands and standing underneath it as leaves and petals fall all around me in what I describe as the druidic version of bliss.
Beautiful.
And I'm just standing next to Darren, like, you saw that as well, right? It's not just me. I mean, I've been blazing pretty hard the last couple of days, man. I'm not entirely sure which way's up at the moment.
I think it happened.
That's fine. That's fine. That's good enough for me.
I don't know what happened.
Okay. I'm going to quickly go over, check Noggin, just to see there's a small cut in her head. It's like, I could heal this, but I'm not going to teach you a lesson. Get up. We're going to get going.
So can I change a handful to bundles of?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Just remember that technically you are a gnome,
Yeah.
and although you wouldn't know it, we do have an encumbrance rule. So
How much do leaves weigh?
it depends how many she carries.
Bundles.
Bundles, bags full. At some point, it's going to become incredibly unwieldy.
Blow the hands
Okay.
over your shoulder and go, is that what you wanted?
All right, boys and girls, the path's a bit clearer. Thank you, Wally, for whatever you did to the trees. At least I hope that was you. Otherwise, I'm having some kind of psychotic break.
Oh, it was me. I talk to plants.
It's.
Accept it.
I think it's time that we plough forward. So let's do what Noggin said. Let's follow the path.
I'm skipping along.
I'm whistling as I walk.
Thank you.
Do you want any
Yeah, jungle exploration.
Oh, I thought you were just going to just put some jungle on. That'd be great, you know. Back to the mid-90s, man. Fantastic.
Jungle is massive. This jungle is massive.
Hey!
As you
It's a
make-
pun.
As you make your way down the pathway, the area that you within sight of the beach is.
Oh!
It's my own cup. I'm sorry, it just hit me again for a second.
What, jungle is massive?
Yes. Just as if I was just going through the forest like.
The pathway widens out a little bit for you, but as you make your way down, you're walking for a few minutes, you find that it starts to constrict again a little, as if you've reached the edge of where you've managed to convince them.
It's a 30-foot field around me for 10 minutes.
Oh, okay, right. Of course it is.
So you just chatting to the trees as you go?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. I'm chatting to the trees, chatting to you, chatting quite loudly and whistling quite a lot, like just having a gay old time.
As you're making your way down the pathway, you start to hear sounds, as well as the rustling of the trees and the sound of Wally just chatting to nothing. You start to hear like and screeches and strange kind of.
Hello?
Girls.
Hello?
You call out.
Yeah. I'm waving as well.
No, nothing returns. No one responds.
Don't try and attract the attention of whatever's in the forest.
Um,
Darren won't make it that far.
Okay.
I love you, Darren.
I immediately move to stealth mode. Just hide behind a tree.
I don't have a stealth mode.
Everybody roll me nature or survival checks, whichever you are
Survival.
better at.
Both four, so
What the druid's good at.
non-natural 20.
That's a 15.
19.
19. 20 and 19. The noises you hear, the animal noises that you hear, you've not heard anything like this before. This doesn't sound like any of the creatures that you've encountered on any of the islands previously. It also doesn't sound like any of the languages that you recognise. Some of you might remember that the Komodo language is a kind of a language. This doesn't sound like that. It sounds more natural, more guttural.
How exciting.
Roll me perception checks.
22.
Non-natural 20.
That's 7.
Brother Jürgen, you look down at the ground, and Noggin, you spot this as well. You see more of these footprints. They're bigger, not rather bigger. There are more of them, and they travel. Sometimes they travel across the path. Sometimes they travel along the pathway. There's a lot of them around. The forest is deeper and denser around you, and you make your way continuing through this deep, dark, dense jungle.
I'm excited. I know lizards. They throw really cool dress-up parties. And I think,
The
what
ones
am I
we
going
met
to dress up next?
After 5-10 minutes moving through the jungle, you see that it starts to thin a little, and the path that you are on is now wider than it was before, even with Wally's magic.
Has it been more than 10 minutes?
It has been almost exactly 10 minutes.
There we go then. That's where off.
The path widens, and you find yourselves stood on the edge of a cliff. And you look out across a large plain. Everybody roll me perception checks.
18.
15.
22.
As you look out, your eyes scan the horizon, and you see in the distance peaks and other cliff edges. And in front of that, woodlands, plains, small stream working its way around. That isn't the first thing that draws your attention, though. What draws your attention is that this plain is filled with dinosaurs. Your eyes sweep.
Who would have thought there was dinosaurs on the island called Nubbler?
Not everyone knows the reference, Ian.
It's the island in Jurassic Park, all right?
Your eyes scan across
hang
the
on.
vista.
They do flock. Yes.
At this point, I take off, if I was wearing one, my hat and wipe the sweat off my brow and put it on the back.
You see tall, long-necked dinosaurs flocked together, moving not so gracefully, sort of herding their way across the plain.
I am enwrapped. Oh my god, I never seen anything like this. Oh my god, no.
Alongside smaller ones, sort of make their way through their legs, looking around. There's a small herd of I don't know my dinosaurs, but they're down by the river.
Gallimimus.
Yeah, drinking at the water, and in this sort of like this big herd, and everywhere you look, there are different kinds of dinosaurs. Many of them are enormous. Even from where you are, they dwarf the landscape and you.
Just gonna gently rub Darren's back. I'm not gonna tell him it's all right. I'm just
Darren
rubbing his
is
back.
going to roll a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, bless.
9 plus 1, 10. He doesn't vomit, but he only just doesn't
Okay,
vomit.
It's all
In the
right.
mouth.
It's okay.
Yeah, he's like, and he looks down. And he's like, they look big.
Guys, I've got to try this now. I've got to try this. Oh my god. Hang on. I look at one of them and wild shape into a Deinonychus, which is one of the smaller ones with the big claws. And standing in front of her like, and he's blue! He's blue again!
You're going to be able to do this when we actually need you to do it. That's the question.
How many times have you wild shape now? Twice, and you've spoken with plants. Good.
Not wasting this
Oh, great. So essentially we brought a big bird along with us. Can't help us, but you can teach us to count, which would be fantastic.
I'm staying in dinosaur form for as long as I can.
Everybody roll me perception checks.
No puzzles. 8 puzzles.
Oh, dinosaur form is on point. That's 23.
You, Noggin and Jurgen, you are distracted by
Dinosaur.
Wally's, by dinosaurs in front of you, but also Wally's usual now behaviour of
Usual.
playing up to his audience.
Jiving
That he's,
velociraptor. There's a bit of that going on.
I'm trying not to. Wally, you hear the sound of a flapping of wings. And it's not a light sort of... It sounds more like this.
What do I say?
Over the top of your heads,
Oh,
from where you've come, you see a gigantic dragon. Huge.
Balls.
Where,
Don't see it.
That wasn't Jurgen, that was me.
as it flies over your head, you see the sun glints off the scales on its side, leaving this kind of bronzy colour in your eyes. It swoops down over the ridge and sort of coasts over the plain in front of you. And then it drops its wings behind it and it goes into a swoop. As it does so, you see that it hovers over the top of a triceratops by the water. It grabs it in its talons and then it beats its wings and it takes off with this triceratops in its claws. The triceratops, which previously looked huge,
Please tell me we've noticed this now, by the way, because
Yeah.
I haven't.
Oh yeah. As it flew over your head, Noggin and Jurgen, you became very aware that this was there, and you see it go down. And what looked like a giant dinosaur in the distance now looks like a tiny dinosaur play toy in the claws of this ginormous brass dragon. It picks it up. It takes off, beating its wings against the air beneath it. And around it, the dinosaurs sort of panic and they start to skitter off in their herds as if this is not the first time this has happened. They are not the apex predators. And it disappears off, flying away from you and heading towards the mountains on the other side of the plain beyond.
I mean, I can't talk right now, but if you can imagine a velociraptor with its mouth just like...
How do you
So
all
happy.
how do you all feel having seen this sight?
So happy.
It's a shiny dragon. Yeah. This is good.
A dentist, a moron, and a walking corpse. I picked a hell of a day to quit sniffing glue.
Thank you, Shirley. As you are stood staring out over the plain, taking in what has just occurred, from behind you, you hear a voice.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
He says, "Impressive, isn't it?"
Huh.
You all turn, and you see behind you a 6.5 foot tall, hairy humanoid. He's covered in a thick, grey-black fur, and he wears like a belt across his shoulder. And roll an insight check, everybody.
17.
12.
18, but I know what he is because I'm a local.
Yeah. He is a member of a species known as the Eriag. They are gentle and friendly. They have a history on this world of previously being used as slaves by other races and species on the islands. However, recently they have gained their freedom, and you've not met this guy before, but he seems older. And he stands up behind you and kind of stands between the three of you, right next to Darren, and looks out and sort of holds his arm out and across and says, "It's a wonderful sight, isn't it? What brings you here?"
I wave with the talon.
Hello. Please ignore the Muppet. Hello, my friend. I am Jurgen, brother Jurgen. These are my friends.
I'm Noggin.
Noggin. This is Wally. He's a dinosaur just now.
Cat dancing
And this
dinosaur.
is Darren, one of the greatest men I've ever met.
He looks across.
A good man, a kind man, a man with a family, a man with principles and honour, a man who will never die.
He raises his eyebrow at this somewhat overlong, unnecessarily detailed introduction, and says, "Welcome, welcome. Yes, sir. Well, I suppose I better introduce myself. I am the Warden of Lost Isle."
Is that this one?
Yes.
Okay.
These creatures you see before you, they are my friends. And as he looks around, he sort of nods to Darren, he nods to Jurgen, he looks at the Velociraptor, Druid, and he looks at Noggin and nods. Yes. All of these creatures are under my protection, my guidance. I am their friend, and they are friends to me.
Including the dragon. Are you friends with the dragon?
A dragon?
Oh, crap.
There's a big shiny thing that flies.
I have seen no dragons on this island.
I mean, how
Flap
can
my
you not have
tiny
seen it?
little
It was literally just there. Where were you?
I flapped my tiny little arms in a weird approximation of a dragon.
I mean, it literally picked up a triceratops like it was like a sandwich off of I like sandwiches, all right? Off
you.
of a shelf and flew away with it. You were behind... You have a dragon and it's eating your friends.
It lives in the mountains.
We're looking for some people, potentially they've been eaten by your friends. I don't know.
He looks perturbed, and he says, "That seems very irregular and highly unlikely. I have seen no dragons on
Mate,
this
seriously,
island."
I'm not joking. You're right there. Okay? Now,
Roll.
I gesture at him, little dinosaur hand, puts it like a fake pipe. Like a,
you and I will have words later. Because I know how I'm going to boost my morale in a bit. Was that a persuasion check? I have -1 at persuasion, so let's see how good I am at this.
Well, we're all trying to help, I think.
15.
I'm trying
15.
to help.
This is strange news to me indeed. If such a creature has made it onto this wonderful paradise that I call my home, then, well, it's happened recently.
Perhaps we can help each other out then. Have you seen any other strange visitors arrive on the island recently? Potentially on the small beach that was, a mile or so back through the forest. There were other boats that were there when we arrived.
He
Like moons and stars. You might have those things with them.
he looks confused and says, "I am not aware of any visitors to this path before you."
can I insight check him?
You can.
Non-natural 20.
Yeah, he's not telling the full truth.
So I can't communicate it anyway, so
There is something quite odd about him in general. Although he's friendly and outgoing, he's trying a little bit too hard.
yeah.
You get the sense that perhaps you're the first people he's spoken to for quite a while, and the way he sort of scuttled out of the forest makes it imply behind you that he's used to spending his time, much like you are, with the plants and animals.
Okay. I mean, I can't tell you guys that anyway, because
Because you're a dinosaur, yeah.
But it's good to know. It's good to know. Yeah, keep it that.
Okay. Right. Let me think. Okay, my friend, we are not here to harm your friends. We are not here to harm your creatures. We are simply here to find the people that have come to the island before. Now, if there is a dragon here, perhaps we can help you with that dragon problem, and perhaps the dragon might be able to lead us to our friends as well. If you were a dragon, where would you be on this island?
When you say "if you were a dragon," he looks wistfully off. Oh, would that I had the power to be such a magnificent and wonderful beast. But no,
I'm sort of
it is not to be.
I'm sort of tugging at Jurgen with the little hand, going like, I'm trying to communicate with him that this guy might not be trustworthy, but I
Okay.
don't know how to talk.
Okay, can I use animal handling to potentially, because I've got quite high animal handling, can I try to discern what it is that Wally's trying to tell me?
Absolutely.
Much like Lassie.
What is it, boy?
What's that, Wally? There's a well? What's there we go. Okay, let's try that. No, 8. No idea.
Although you are skilled in handling many animals, dinosaur is new to you, and the facial features don't really have the complexity of structure
Okay.
to be able to work out what he's trying to intimate to you.
I'm really tempted to wild shape back, but I'm not gonna.
Fantastic.
He looks out. The warden looks out across the plain in front of him, and he's sort of gazing wistfully and friendly and happily at it. He says, "My friends on this plan. You see them all arrayed here. Were it not for me and my hard work, all these creatures you see in front of you would be gone. extinct. No more for this world. It is only through my hard work and my dedication to my task that these majestic beasts that you see before you are living happy and carefree, natural lives upon the plains of Lost Isle.
Why would they be going extinct?
Dinosaurs, isn't it? That's what they do.
He, at this point, his countenance changes a little, and he looks at you and he says, "Well, you have seen the devastation and the water around. There are not many habitable lands left on this world. Those that are filled with people and civilization."
My friend, where are the rest of your people? Are you here by yourself?
I am the only one here, yes.
And how did you come to be the only one here?
I arrived alone.
Can I do an insight check on that to see what he's...
Tugging.
Yeah.
You can.
19.
19.
Give it up.
He's definitely not telling the whole truth. You glean that he's genuine in his love for the creatures that you see around him and his intention to save them and keep them protected. But he's definitely not been telling the whole truth to you up until this point. Beyond that, you can't glean any more.
My friend, it's clear that you care for these animals and you love these animals. I take it you would do anything to protect them.
Yes. They are friends to me, and it is important that these great and majestic beasts be saved for all time.
So if people were to come to the island, then your first priority would be the safety of your animals.
As far as I am concerned, this island belongs to the animals.
I'd like to ask one more time whether or not you've seen the people that we're looking for.
I am not aware of any landing on this beach or on this island.
Can I roll an insight check on that as well?
You
See
can
if it's mine?
indeed.
Okay. 10.
Oh, there's some boats down that way. You just follow the path, and you come out, and there's some boats. That's where they landed.
If people...
Oh, no, wait, no, it was a 9. Oh, no, 13.
He looks at you and he says, if people and their civilization have landed here, then they have succombed to the wilds of the nature. And that's where we're going to leave this out.
Oh!
Chloe.
Oh.
Thank you so much for joining us. We're doing this 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. and 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. every day for Fringe, apart from the 24th and 25th. We are also live streaming the whole thing on twitch.tv/Adventurers Wanted. We are live tweeting it on Twitter @Adventures250. You can always come back and see where the adventure's gone. You can come and play as a player. We will make up your own character just for you, and you can get involved if you fancy. I'm going to throw to some of the guys on the table right now who have other shows on at Fringe to plug.
Yes, okay. So I am the host of a comedy panel game show called Imaginary Porno Charades. It's I mean, I can't really explain it better than that. It's charades. A bit like, you remember Give Us a Clue, except dirty. So we're on every Friday, Saturday and Sunday of the Fringe at 11 o'clock in the evening at Sweet Grass Market, which is the Apex Grass Market Hotel. We've got different acts from all across the festival every night. So this weekend we've got Dan Atfield, we've got Nicky Wilkinson from the Cagouls, we've got Lauren Patterson, we've got Zara Janjua from STV, we've got Stephen Bailey, who's on as well. So if you're a fan of that sort of thing, Maddie Anholt, lots of different acts on tonight and tomorrow and Sunday. So yeah, come along and have a bit of naughty fun. There we go.
Well, I'm going to also do a very quick plug for some wonderful people who are doing a show called Morale is High Since We Gave Up Hope, which is at Summer Hall. It's at 10:15 each night. It's got songs, it's got stories, it's got time travel, and it's made by some incredibly talented and wonderful people. So that's my plug for today.
Cool.
Cool. Thank you very much for coming. We've now got a quick turnaround, so it's just not the way you came, but have a lovely day.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much for coming. Cheers.
Thanks for coming.